So how does one give away the farm without eliminating the need for people to buy your stuff? That is the biggest concern with giving away the farm, is that if I give it all away, no one's going to need to buy my stuff. And in the last video, we talked about the mentality behind this, how the more you share what it is that you are an expert in, the more you share your knowledge and the more free you are with your, and generous you are with your knowledge and your expertise, the more the right people are going to start gathering around you, and they're just going to want more from you. But there is a strategy to this, and there are some tactics that you can employ. So I'd like to share 5 of them that I employ with you right now. Number 1 is to give some of it away, but hold the rest back for the people who pay you. And now you have to be a little bit tactful about this, because you can't like dangle it in their face and be like, guys, I know a great amount of things and I'm going to share some of them with you, but if you want to know everything, you got to give me money. You know, because that's a turnoff to people. So you have to be really slick about this. Here's an example of one way to do it. If let's say that you came up with 20 tips of how to do your thing, right? So you could say, guys, I'm going to do a webinar, or I'm going to do a live video, or I have a PDF download, something like that, where I'm going to share 5 ways to do the thing. And then at the end of that, you can say, I've come up with a way of doing this like 20 different ways, and I'd like to share that with you. If you're interested, PM me, or if you're interested, get in my course for this thing. What's happened now is you're not dangling the idea of having to buy something in their face. You gave away the farm first. You gave them 5 free ways to do it. Now they see the value in that. Once they see the value in that, they're going to understand that there are more things that you know, and it will become common sense to them. I understand that you can't give me everything for free. That's not fair. I would be willing then to pay you money for those other 15 things. Some people are just going to say, I'm good with the 5. I'm going to make good use of these, and that's that. And that's okay, because as I said in the last video, those are the kinds of people who maybe are do-it-yourselfers, or they'll try and figure out the other 15 themselves, but they're still going to love you, they're still going to come back for more for free, and they're still going to start referring you and bringing their friends in too. And their friends might be people who will pay for the other 15. So way number 2 is to sort of share your knowledge freely, but it doesn't have to be laid out so specifically for people. You can do it in a more I'm going to use the word disorganized, but I don't want this to sound dishonest. What I'm suggesting here is that you can share your knowledge, but you do not have to lay out the entire battle plan for people. You know, like, so let's say people want to get from this point in their life or business to this point. And you can start by saying, you know, sometimes you need to do this thing, and sometimes you need to do this thing, and sometimes you need to do this thing. And if people were paying enough attention to you, then yeah, maybe they could put all the pieces together on their own. But that's a lot of work. In your course, or in your service, or in your product, or whatever it is that you sell, you've got the whole thing laid out. Boom, 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 step by step. There's value in that, and that's what you sell. Now, I happen to like that way better than the first way because it works for me, and you need to find what works for you. And I do feel like people feel like they get more that way, because if you're telling them, I'm sharing everything with you, they just feel like they're getting more, and they're going to appreciate that, and they're going to look for ways to reciprocate. The third way is to teach everything you know freely, even if you organize it and make it laid out plan by plan, step by step, but offer that you'll do it for them for money. For many of us, what we do for a living is really hard. It takes expertise. That's why you're the expert. Just knowing something doesn't mean that you are an expert in it now. I'll give you an example. When I started my career, I went for sales training. And one of the things that they used to drill into our heads was, at some point you're going to know this stuff. But knowing it doesn't mean you own it. And then one day, something's going to click and you're just going to own it. And what they meant was, we're going to teach you a lot of skills and tactics and mindsets in this sales training. And you're going to go out and you're going to go to a sales call, and the whole thing is just going to go right out of your head, and you're going to sit there and revert back to what you used to do because you don't own it yet. You know it, but you don't own it. With practice, you'll eventually own it. Well, being that I'm an entrepreneur and I need to do sales for a living in order to, eat and have a house, it was important to me that I got to the point that I owned this stuff. However, there are plenty of things that I know how to do that I don't really have any interest in getting so good at it that I now own it. I might just want to dabble in it, and that's good enough. Or if it were very important to me or like an instrumental part of my business or my life, then I might not want to put the effort in to own it. I might just want to pay you, the person who already owns it, to come in and do it for me, right? So you can teach how to do it, but then offer, hey, I've taught you how to do this. If you don't want to do it yourself, you can hire me and I'll do it for you. Plenty of people will take you up on that. Now, the fourth way really isn't a separate way. You can include it in any of these first three that I just discussed with you. With the pay part, you are offering more access to you. So, for example, in your free stuff, the only access that they get to you is watching your videos or being in your group. There's some access and there's some feeling of camaraderie, but when they are a paying customer or an actual one-on-one done-for-you client, there's real personal access to you. And that is valuable to people, especially if what it is that you're doing for them or what it is that you're teaching them is very important to them. They're going to want to know that you're there holding their hand throughout the entire experience. With the free content, they're completely on their own and they know it. And finally, 5 also is kind of the icing on the cake of this whole thing. It's not really its own way, but it's to over-deliver in everything. And this is really the key to branding. Your brand is what people think of you. Now, if you create and project an image for people so that they'll want to hire you for something, once they are now in that inner circle, you want to over-deliver as much as you can. That feeling that they have of you, that brand image that they have, is going to be cemented firmly in place, and they're going to want to share it. Once you have it where you are now really delivering the goods for paying clients and you're doing a really good job, those people are going to want to tell more people. And then it just sort of amasses and grows from there. Okay, so I want to talk about how I do this in my own business because I actually touch on all 5 of these. I'm going to go through them step by step so that you can see a living example of it. Now, this is a little bit funny because I'm doing it to you. You are now my customer or my client, and I did this to you to get you here. And now I'm teaching you how to do it the same. So I want to be very clear that nothing in this course or nothing about creating video and amassing an audience and bringing them into your inner circle, none of it is dishonest, none of it is manipulative. It is imperative that you are delivering real value on the free side and that you are then delivering epic value on the pay side. If you're doing that, then everything is ethical and honest and you're doing great. The only time that this becomes manipulative or dishonest is if you're adding value on the free side, and then when people pay you money to get into the inner circle part or the done-for-you service part or become your client or whatever model works for you, then you're not delivering anything and you're cheating them. Obviously, that's not what I want to do. That's not what I want to teach you how to do. And that's not what I even want you to do. So here's what I do. You may notice by now that there are things in this course that you've heard me cover on the topics of in the free group, but I am diving much deeper in the course. It's not that I'm withholding things, but I don't have the ability to go this deeply inside the group. I don't want to give away the farm literally so that there's no reason to buy my stuff. So my group is free, and it's where I am delivering most of my free content right now. I also have a YouTube channel that's free, and I'm delivering free content there as well. However, it's not structured, it's not organized to take you through a process step by step and reach a certain goal. It's only one video at a time, one nugget at a time that will maybe inspire you for the day or get you moving in a certain direction. It's not anything that's going to solve the entire problem all at once, but it is something that's going to inspire you to maybe do better, to get started, to keep going when you feel like quitting. That's the purpose of free content is to inspire people and rally them around you so that you can then pull them in to the place where you can deliver the most value. And let's face it, you need to make money to deliver the most value. Now, in some parts of my group, I may be sharing ideas about how to do something. And now when you get into the how to do something of anything, you need to be careful, especially if you're selling how to do something. And I am teaching people for money how to make better videos and how to use those videos in your business to create your audience and build your brand. But if I went into the group and gave away all of the how, then there really wouldn't be any reason to be here. So sometimes you need to withhold some of the how. And the way that I do it is by sort of glossing over all of the how. I'll say, here's one way to do it, and here's one way to do it, and here's one way to do it. And I kind of mention them, and I'll even sort of demonstrate them a little bit while I'm talking. If you've watched my Daily Fuel Lives, you know that I've even talked about like how to go to YouTube and type in, and the drop down comes in when you do the keywords and things like that. But I didn't go to my screen and show them exactly step by step how to do it. I'm doing that here in the course, but I'm not doing it for free in the group. You're going to see that in the group, I will explain how a little bit, and here I'm going to get deep into how to do things. Probably the biggest thing that is the difference between this course and one-on-one training and the free group is the access that you have to me. At each level of payment, with the courses or training, and then even done for you video production services, you get greater and greater access to me. Once you're like a client with training and or video production stuff, you have my phone number, and I tell you, you don't need an appointment to call me. You just call me when you need me. Things like that. I do that for paying clients. I can't do that for everybody in the course, but the access that you get to me now inside of the course is that we have our secret group, and there's much fewer of us in there, and you have much more access to me. And I take everybody's questions far more seriously, not in terms of it's more important to me, but in terms of like if you have detailed questions that you have, I can now make a detailed tutorial about how to do that. Whereas if somebody asks the same question in the free group, how do I do this? I can just give a written explanation, or I can talk about it in my next live. So the level of access goes up with the more money that people pay you. And that's how I do it in my stuff. And then finally, it is my intention and my hope that what I am delivering in this course and what I am delivering in training or video production work is beyond what you're expecting or what you're hoping for. If at any point it is not, I would like for you to tell me that, because it is my intention to make sure that it is. And at every step along the way, I'll be reminding you to do the same. This isn't just about how to make videos so that people go, ooh, you're cool, let me hire you. This is about how to use video as a tactical tool to bring people around you so that you can then bring them into your inner circle and over-deliver with your value.